Hi there. Welcome to another new video from F1 News. After the race in Miami, we're now getting ready for the race in Spain. Of course, we're going to look at the whole racetrack and learn all about the Barcelona-Catalunya track. But first, we're going to see how the racing teams will use this time to change their game plans. Today, we're talking about Mercedes, the team that everyone writes about the most and has the biggest question marks hanging over them. The Spanish Grand Prix will be a really important moment for Mercedes to make big decisions about what to do with their Formula One race car, the W13. But before we jump into this story, we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell so you won't miss any updates. Okay, done. Then let's get started. The thing everyone talks about most at Team Mercedes is their bouncing car problems. The German car company is having a really hard time fixing the bouncing issues that have been bothering their W13 car since the season started. This bouncing problem has made it impossible for the team to race against Ferrari and Red Bull properly. As the team looks for answers for weeks now, they see the next F1 race in Barcelona as a super important moment to figure out what to do next. Since Mercedes drove on the track during practice season with their regular side panels and original design, the Spanish GP race will give them an amazing chance to compare how different car designs work and see which one might be better. They haven't made much progress at all this year. The pressure is so huge that Mercedes needs to make decisions really quickly. This also includes whether they should keep using their zero-pod design or not. This week, Toto Wolff was asked if he could promise the team wouldn't go back to their original car design. His answer was, "Well, I wouldn't say no to anything, but we need to trust all our people. They've made amazing race cars before, and we believe this is the right way to go. Barcelona will definitely be a time when we can compare with what we saw in February and collect more information. I'm also tired of saying the same thing about collecting data and doing experiments, but it's science, not magic, so you have to carefully study all the information. The main worry is that Mercedes' zero-pod design is causing problems they didn't expect. By showing more of the car's bottom part, it makes the car bounce around more. Wolff said, "If you walk around and look at all the cars, you can see that our floor edges stick out much wider than everyone else's. That makes it work differently and gives it much more ways to become unstable. I think that's where our design is different from others. The Barcelona original car is much slower on paper, but we need to figure out how we can make our current car work in a way that drivers can predict." Hamilton is one of the drivers who has complained about the car. The British driver said after the race in Miami that the team hasn't been able to make the car better. "We have been struggling right from the start," said Wolff, "flying in the fog for a little bit. It's clear there's good potential in the car, and it is fast, but they just don't understand how to unlock that potential. It's a car that's probably super hard to drive when you're pushing it to the limit, going in and out of working well, more out than in. Looking at all the data very carefully is just a painful process because it takes such a long time. But how much more time does Mercedes have? In the meantime, they've had to deal with some really tough hits. They constantly look at how other teams are doing things and wonder why Red Bull and Ferrari are winning while they're struggling. Then there are the problems within the Mercedes team itself. After Hamilton stayed quiet during the winter break and completely avoided talking to the media, there was lots of talk about whether he would even come back to racing. He did come back, which made Mercedes fans really happy, but soon found himself in a tight spot. Not only did the promising W13 turn out to cause way too many problems, but Hamilton also had a really hard time mentally. He talked openly on social media. "Some days it's hard to stay positive," wrote the 7-time Formula One world champion. "It has been such a tough year with everything that is happening around us. I've been going through a tough time mentally and emotionally for a long time, and it takes a lot of strength and effort to keep going. But we have to keep fighting. We can do and achieve so much," wrote the 37-year-old British driver. He lost his chance at an 8th world title in the last race last year and watched Max Verstappen become the world champion in Abu Dhabi, which really upset him. "I'm writing this to say it's okay to feel the way you feel. Just know that you are not alone and that we are going to get through this. I am sending you all positivity and love." The relationship between Toto Wolff and Hamilton seemed to get worse after a few races of the 2022 GP season. After the race in Imola, for example, Pictures came out showing a heated argument between Hamilton and Toto. This showed that they had a big fight after the British driver got out of his car before the second qualifying session was stopped. Also, Wolff was really mad at his driver, and it seemed like Hamilton had had enough too. They then turned their backs on each other, clearly annoyed. We can only guess what exactly was said, but Nico Rosberg has an idea. Lewis could be frustrated on the team radio and complain that they don't listen to his ideas about strategy or his complaints about the car. There was maybe a 1% chance that the track would still be okay despite the rain. Maybe Toto was angry about that. It just shows the stress is starting to get to everyone. Instead of getting better, they are actually getting worse, almost 2 seconds slower per lap and their worst qualifying session in 10 years. The tension will get worse inside the team. When asked for a comment, Toto said, "We were just so angry about the session in general. He let out his frustrations to me, and I to him. It was absolutely about the same thing. No problem there." Also, this weekend in Miami, Hamilton was clearly not happy with his team at another really important moment in the race. Hamilton counted on his team's smart planning, and things turned out differently than expected. He said, "You want to be able to count on those guys, but today they put the decision in my hands and I don't understand why." That was really unfortunate. During the race, there was a lot of back and forth about whether Hamilton, like George Russell, should make an extra pit stop. When the safety car came out, it was the third time in 5 races that the safety car came at a bad time for Hamilton. When talking about that moment after the race, asking whether stopping would have been a better choice, the Mercedes driver told Sky Sports, "I honestly have no idea," he started before going back to talking about his discussion with Bono. "At that moment, I don't know where everyone else is driving, so if the team says it's up to you, then I don't have the right information to make that choice. That's your job. Make that decision for me." That's all for this video about Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Please remember to share your thoughts in the comments and be nice to each other. And now we want to play a little game. We'll ask you a question about the video and you can write your answer in the comments. Are you ready? Here's the question. How many times has the safety car come out at a bad time for Hamilton this year? Okay, bye for now.